Hello all, so let's discuss a problem number 1007. So minimum domino rotations. So let's directly understand with the help of example. So here we are given two arrays or list, you can say, tops and bottoms. Okay, so here it's the tops, you can see 2, 1, 2, 4, 2 and 2. And similarly the bottom 5, 2, 6, 2, 3, 2. Okay, like this. And the question says we have to make all the numbers either in tops or in the bottoms equal. Okay, any one of them. Okay, whichever takes minimum. So what question says is that return the minimum number of rotations so that all the values in tops are the same or all the values in the bottoms are the same. So for example, here this is the original configuration. Now if you rotate this to just, okay, then 2 will be at the top, and if you rotate this to, then 2 will be at the top. And you can see in this that all will be 2's and we require just 2 rotations. Okay, so if we can do the other way around as well, for example, let's say, for as of now just ignore this part. Okay, this is for later explanation. But for example, what I mean is that for what we did, we rotated this 2, okay, to make this as 2, and we rotated this 2 to make this as 2. So now all becomes 2. Okay, so we require 2 rotations. But you might like question that what about if I rotate in here? Okay, then this will be 2. This is already 2. If I rotate here, then this will be 2. So first rotation, second rotation is already 2. And if we rotate here, then this will also be 2. We can do this as well, and there will be 3 rotations. But the question says minimum, and that's why we will choose this one. Okay, you can also try to make 5 if you want to. Like for example, make everywhere 5. But that is where the twist comes. If you observe, let me just erase all this so that I can explain it. So if you observe a bit, that making it as 5 is not possible. Why? Because you can see that this you can make it at 5, but this you can't make it at 5 because here it's 1, right? So it's not possible to make anything else. So also, so what we have to check is, we just have to check for any number. Okay, any number, what I mean is any number at the same index. So try to make all the values in the tops as 2 or in the bottoms as 2. Okay, and take the minimum, whichever is minimum. Here we have seen that to make tops as 2 we require 2 steps, and to make bottoms as 2 we require 3 steps, and that's why we took the minimum. Okay, and now if we, you might question, why just 2? I want to make it as 5. Make it, but it's not possible. You if you will start, first is already 5, but second there is no 5 here, so you can't make it. Okay, so here you are gone. So but it might be possible that you can make it, and that's why I have written this example. Okay, so now focus here, that this is my tops and this is my bottoms. Okay, so here you will see that let's try to make all tops as 2. Okay, so this is already 2, one step here, one step here. Okay, and rest are 2, so 2 steps again. And if you make bottom as 5, like let's say everything is 5, or you can also make it as 2 first if you want to. So here it will be first step, then second step, then third step. So 3 steps. Okay, and here as well 4 steps, sorry. Okay, so 4 steps, but we have to take minimum, and that's why we will take that we can make tops as 2, which will take minimum. Okay, but what about 5? That is what our question is right now. That if I want to make 5, this is already 5, this will take 1 step, this is already 5, this will take 1 step, so this is also taking 2 steps. Okay, so and you can take minimum of both, right? But it will always take 2 steps only, because we know that in order to make tops as all 2 we require 2 steps. So it simply means that rest all the 4 positions, right, has 2. Okay, so now in order to make here has all 5s, we already know that 4 positions already has 2s. Okay, so only other 2 positions, right, which don't have 2s will be having 5s, but it's not guaranteed that it will be 5. In this example I have deliberately made it so we can say that yes, it's possible to make it, but it will be also 2, because we already know that in order to make tops as 2 we required 2 steps. Okay, so 4 places were already 2, just 2 places were different than 2, and that is what was needed. Okay, so but in order to make this as 5, we know that 4 places are already 2, right? So there is no 5 there, 4 places already has 2. Okay, so if you want to make it as 5, then you can only have 2 options which will be having 5, because we know that 4 positions has 2, okay, in that place. So that's the simple logic. So let me write that what we will do, we will first try to make all the numbers as either 2 or all the numbers as either 5. But let me tell you, you can either make all the numbers as 1 and all the numbers as 2. Okay, so just you have to check the same index. You can take any index. Okay, but just take the corresponding index. Try to make all the numbers as 4 and count how many steps are possible. Okay, to do this, or try to make all means in tops and bottoms both, okay, as 2, and take the minimum. So let me explain that once more what I mean. So let's say we start from, I'm taking the white color, let's say we start from here. Okay, let me erase all this stuff. Perfect. So let's say this is, sorry, I'm taking the white color, this is top rotations and this is bottom rotations. I'm taking just 2 variables to store how many rotations we will need to make. So top will indicate how many rotations are needed to make top as the target number, which is 2 right now, and bottom indicates how many steps are needed to make the bottom as the target number. So firstly the target number is 2. So how many tops rotation will be needed for tops? Here it's already 2, here it's 1 will be needed. Okay, so 1 rotation will be needed, here it's already 2, here 1 more, so we'll increment, and that's it. Now try to make here as well 2. Okay, so 1 rotation, here is already 2, 1 more here, it's already 2, 1 more here, so it's 3. So we will take the minimum, so this one is minimum, so that will be our answer, and we will continue the process for now 5. Okay, so if we can make this as 5, so let's start. This is already 5, or always we have to start from tops. So let's try to make it 5. This can be made 5 using 1 step. Okay, I'm writing now for 5. So 1 step will be needed. Now if you will see here, you can't make it as 5, right? So you are done. Nothing is 5, so just return. Okay, that it will return nothing. Okay, so if we are already getting some answer, right, with this number, then that will be definitely our answer. If we are not getting, okay, if we are stuck like this, that okay, my target is nothing like this, then we will go for another number. Okay, that it will be clear in the code. So let me go there and let's try to code. What I mean is, just try to make, okay, all numbers either 2 or either 5, or just consider any index. So I'm just focusing on 0th index, but just try to make all the numbers either 1 or either 2, and just take the variables and take the minimum. And if you get answer by making, while trying to make any, okay, one number, then you don't have to go for the next number. And why you don't have to go for the next number? Because if it's possible to make it, then here as well we will need 2 only, like we did for, so here if we already get for 2, the answer is 2. If we try to go for 5, and if it's feasible to make everything as 5, we will again need 2 only. Okay, it won't be possible in less than 2, and I explained why, because 4 positions are already having 2s here, right? So it's not possible to swap more than 2 here to make all 5s if it's possible. For example, here it's some other number 3. Then again we are stuck. It's not possible. Then whatever is the answer is just this one which we are getting. There is no need to do this for 5. Okay. So bit tricky to explain, but I tried my best. Let's try to code it out. Okay. So firstly, what we have to do is let's define our function which will calculate the rotations and give us the minimum. Okay. So let's say our answer will be, I'm defining function self dot min rotations. Let's name it something like that, min rotations, and it will take, of course, tops, bottoms, and the target. Okay, so I'll write this function later. Okay, let's write the definition of it. Min rotations, what it takes self first, of course, then it takes tops, bottoms, and the target is whatever value we have to make it. For example, firstly the target is 2. Okay, so now you might understand what will be the target here. Target here will be, firstly we will try to make as tops of 0. Okay, and if we get the answer, we don't go for the tops of bottoms of 0. Okay, we don't go to make all as 5, because whatever we will get here will be perfect. Okay, so let's try to write the function now. So as I said, we have to take 2 variables. So first will be tops, rotate tops, let's say. Firstly it will be 0, and we'll increment it, rotate bottom, and we'll increment it. So let's go for the entire range of either of them, because they are of equal size, of course. So now here comes the fun part, that let's say my tops of I is not equal to target, which happened, right? In this case, that our target was 5 and it was not equal to either of them, then it's not possible. Okay, here it happened while we were doing for bottom, but in general case it might be possible for the tops of 0, right? So if both, that is tops and bottoms of I, if both are not equal to target, then we will simply say it's not possible. So let's return something, let's say -1, that, and we will say that if answer is -1, then we will go for bottoms of 0. Okay, so if this is the case, it's not possible. But if just tops of I is not equal to target, then obviously we will increment rotate tops. Let me copy paste, plus or equals to 1. So what I did is, let me explain, that let's say my target was 2, right? And here my tops of I, let's say in the first for loop, it's already 2 for first iteration, but for the second iteration it's not 2. Okay, so we will increment it by 1. Okay, for it means maybe it's possible that, okay, if this is not equals to target 2, might be this is 2, but it's not always the case that this is 2. Okay, but might be it is 2, then it will take 1 rotation to make this. Sorry, so what I'll do, again if my bottoms of I is not equal to target, then I will increment this one. I'll show you by debugging so that it's more clear. Correct? And obviously what we have to return the minimum, because if it's possible, because we have seen that it's possible to make both as 2, right? It's possible to make both as 2. This can be made 2 and this can also be made 2. Okay, so right now we are just focusing on tops of 0. Okay, so target is 2. So if we run this loop, then it's possible to make both tops and bottoms as 2, correct? And but we know that one of them take minimum, and that's why we will take the minimum of tops and bottoms. And if it's not possible, we will directly say it's not possible and just return -1. Okay, so I hope things are clear. I'll debug it so that it's clear for you. But if it's not possible, so if my answer is not equals -1, okay, if then we will simply return whatever is our answer is. Okay, but what if my answer is -1, that is it's not possible? Okay, then we have to again go for making it as bottom of 0. Okay, so let's go here and just change bottoms of 0. Let's try to run this. Should work. Accepted. So we'll discuss space and time, but let's debug it because I know this is still not clear that what we did. So let me put a breakpoint, of course, here, and let's put it here. Okay, and let's debug. What I mean, it will be clear. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so we are taking this as an example, and we know that the answer is 2, and why it's 2 we know this. Okay, so let's continue. Firstly, our tops of 0 is 2. Okay, so our target is 2 right now. So you can see our target is 2. Now we start our iteration. So we will first check both. Okay, if both, so we will check if this is equals to target, not equals to target, and this is also not equals to target. We will check both, but here no, this is 2 already. Okay, so this condition is not satisfied, so we will go to the elif condition. Now we will see this is not equal to target. No, it is equal to target, so it will also go one more. Now this is not equal to target, so we know that if we rotate our bottom, then we can make it as 2. So our rotate bottom will be incremented. Now let's go ahead again. Now my I is 1. We will check if any of this is not both of them. Okay, both of them are not equals to 2. No, one is equals to 2. Okay, so not satisfied. So go to elif. Now here our tops is not equals to target. Okay, so it will go inside and rotate top is now 1. Now further go ahead. This is also not satisfied, so it will go to elif and tops is equal to target, so it will go to bottoms and increment it. Okay, now I hope things are making sense. Correct? Obviously it will not go to if condition because we know that one of them is 2 always in our first example. We know that one will take just 2 steps, making tops will take 2 steps. Okay, and that's why we will take the minimum. So now just 2, this will be taking 2 steps, it will take 3 steps. We have seen this already. The minimum is 3, sorry 2. So what is our answer? Our answer is 3. We went here, answer is not equals to -1. So what does this mean? That it's possible to achieve this. Okay, if it's -1, then it's not possible, but it's possible. That's why we'll just simply return our answer and that's it. But if it's not possible, if it should have been -1 somewhere. Okay, let me show you that if it's -1, right, let's take our own example which we took. Okay, let me close the debugger and let's take this as an example. 2 3 2 5 2 2 2 3 2 5 2 2 and we will take 5 2 5 2 5 5. Okay, let's run this. So what we are getting? 2. And how we will get? Okay, maybe we have to exchange tops and bottoms, then it will be perfect. So yeah, so here we can't make it all as 5, okay, because here it's 3. So this will return -1. When it will return -1? When we will hit to the second iteration, that both is not equals to target, and our target is 5. So it will return -1. So if it's not equals to, no, but it's equal to -1, okay, so this condition is not satisfied. So we will go to here, and we will now, our target is now 2. Now it will check whether 2 is possible, and we know that 2 is possible to make. How? Firstly, we will rotate. So we have to check also for both. Okay, we have to make all this as 2 and all this as 2. Okay, so we will start from, of course, tops. So first rotation is needed, second rotation is needed, and third and fourth, 4 rotations are needed here. Okay, to make it for tops. But for bottoms, you will see only 1 rotation and only second rotation. So in this case, our bottoms is getting in minimum number of rotations. Okay, so now let's come towards space and time complexity. So let's submit it and check what's the space and time complexity that we are getting. Can you guess? Then we can discuss. So O of n. Why O of n? Actually, it's O of 2n, because in first case, firstly we are going through entire array, right, once, and then we are going, if it's, let's say, the condition of -1, this occurs in the last iteration, then we have iterated through the entire array, right? So this will take the entire O of n, and then we have to go here for entire O of n. So in total it will be O of 2n. Okay, but one more thing that I said, that it's not like you just have to try with first index. You can also 0th index, you can also try with first index, and the answer will be same. You can see it will work crystal clear. Similarly, you can try any index, but provided it should be the same index. Okay, and you can think of it, it's common sense now. Okay, sorry, what happened? List index out of range. Okay, for this case, test case, where tops and bottoms are just 2 and 1, then it's not possible. Okay, so here, because we are just having 0 and 1th index, so we have to check the constraints, that my length is minimum is 2. Okay, so we can either take 0 or 1, but can't go to 2. Okay, that's what the constraint is. So we can go for 1. Okay, but for this 2 examples it will work. For this 3 it should work. So let's try if it's work. Yeah, for this 3 it will work, but since we are having the minimum as 2, you can't take any further. Okay, you can just take 0 and 1, not 2. Okay, so let me just make it as 0. So I hope things are clear. So let me write that what's the space and time. Okay, so let's write, this can be considered as a greedy problem. Feels like greedy, I don't know, array or greedy, or so it's O of 2n, and space we are not taking anything extra. So, but as I said, as the answer can only be either tops of 0 or bottoms of 0, so it not doesn't mean tops of 0 is the answer. It doesn't mean like 5 is the answer or 2 is the answer. It simply means that it's like a writing error. So it simply means you can take any of them. Okay, either from tops of 0 as a target or bottoms of 0 as target. Don't take it literally, okay? As there are the answer. Don't take it. Don't take them as answers. Okay. So that's why this is the time and space. And that's it for this video. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.